I just saw this movie recently called Lars and the Real Girl. I love this movie. It is phenomenal. It's awesome. You should watch it for sure. Awesome. It's a story about this guy, Lars Lindstrom, who's kind of messed up. He's a damaged guy. He's got emotional scars deep inside. His mom had died when he was born. His dad had died. You could tell there was something with him and his dad didn't work out too well. Dysfunctional family life. His brother ran away from home, or at least took off early to get out of the house. And he lives in this little garage kind of apartment behind his family's home where his brother and his brother's wife live. And he just lives to himself and doesn't talk to anybody. And he goes to church but doesn't say much to anybody else. He's just kind of weird. And his brother's wife is always trying to reach out to him. She's always like, I got to do something for this guy. And all of her efforts just get pushed aside, and Lars just keeps living his life. And then one day he shows up at the back door of the house and he announces that he has a girlfriend. And they're, of course, thrilled. They're like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's a girlfriend? We had no idea. And he says, can I bring her over? So he brings her over and he sits her on the couch, and it turns out she's a doll, a plastic doll that he ordered off the internet. And he names her Bianca, and he carries on a conversation with this plastic doll. It's crazy. And his brother and his wife are sitting there on the couch going, oh my goodness, this guy's lost his mind. And they convince him to take Bianca, who's a missionary, by the way, because she's sick and she's kind of crippled, to the doctor to be checked out. And the doctor's a psychologist, and they figure this will be a way for the doctor to sort of examine Lars. So she examines Lars, and her report is, well, Lars has a delusion, and he needs his delusion. Because whatever he's dealing with on the inside, he needs this delusion, so we just have to play along. Well, you should see the town. The town goes bananas. First of all, the brother's like, there's no way I'm doing this. This is crazy. The church has a meeting. The pastor sits in the meeting, he calls a meeting and says, we got to play along with Lars' delusion. And everyone's objecting. The one guy's like, this is an abomination. I can't believe it. And the pastor says, well, what would Jesus do if he was here? And the one woman, I love her. She's an agent of grace. She starts pointing out the faults of everybody in the circle. And eventually they agree to play along. And for the rest of the movie, we watch this town and this church and this community surround this mentally ill, emotionally scarred guy. And they literally pretend that this doll is real. They bring her to like the hospital to volunteer. They have her go to school and read stories to the kids. They have her work in a store. They bring her to church and have her sit next to Lars in church. And they just embrace this whole delusion. And little by little, because of this community's scandalous grace for this insane, crazy thing, Lars finds healing and finds hope, and his life is changed. Now that movie struck me. It made me wonder if the Church of Jesus today is as scandalous as the church in that movie. Would we surround someone in their brokenness and walk with them through their delusion, even if we thought it was completely crazy, just so we could see them find healing and hope and move a step in their lives? That is a huge question. What would your community do? What would you do if somebody came in to your life that broken, that messed up? How would you respond? Would you be the agent of healing in their life? Would you organize the healing grace? Or would you be the one pointing fingers and going, that guy's nuts? I think Lars and the Real Girl is a great movie. You should watch it. And then when you do, why don't you come to Walk the Way and tell us what you think?